Hello, Stephanie. Right now, bringing you should be coming on.
Good morning.
Hello, Stephanie. I am so glad to have you on this show.
I'm
Uh,
excited to be on. Thank you for having me.
it's great. I'm going to tell everybody we don't have anybody on yet, but they should be coming on, and it's such a pleasure, real pleasure. So I'm going to tell them a little bit about you, okay? Start
Okay.
with the bio, and then people will be coming on as we go. All right.
Okay.
And there's there's Kristen. There's one. All right. Hey, everyone, I am so excited to introduce Stephanie Lee. I'm going to tell you a little bit now. I do have to read her bio. Sorry, guys, but I do have to read. But because she is so accomplished, but I'll tell you what, she's just such a cool person. Stephanie Lee is a master level therapist and lifestyle mastery relationship expert. I love that. She
Thank you.
loves she loves helping people with self-discovery and transformation in various areas of life, but her passion is relationships, and that's why we have her on today. With She's been an editor, a writer, and contributor for several books and magazines. She's very accomplished. She loves to share her gifts of writing with the world. I love that. She inspires people to explore the possibilities that can be uncovered through the journey of inner work, which then can be led to the relationships. Very cool. Welcome. And yes, isn't that the truth? It
Yeah.
is. It all starts within us. But today we're talking about pampering and how, when you take care of yourself, how it reflects and helps your relationships. And Stephanie, would you weigh in on that as the expert of the passion and relationships?
Absolutely. So I think pampering is extremely important, especially for women, because we are stuck being conditioned that putting ourselves last on the list is what values us as a woman. And so I wish we could kind of learn to change that narrative. If you look at the example of, an airplane, whenever they tell you about the oxygen mask, they tell you to put on your oxygen mask before they even say to put on your child's. And
Yes.
so women were conditioned to kind of do for others before us. But the message with that is you really can't operate at your best for other people if you're not at your best for yourself. So we need to take the negative stigma associated with pampering ourselves and kind of looking at it as a way to refuel yourself to be an even better component in your relationships across the board.
I agree with you totally. It's like, and hello, Aaron. It's good to see you. We tend to so often just push ourselves and push ourselves, and we do so much. And then when we come to our relationships, ladies, we're exhausted. We
Exactly.
are impatient. We expect everybody to read our minds. We are, you know what I mean? We don't put our best into the relationship. We just always think we're just too tired. We're too
Exactly.
tired. We've got to take the time to pamper. And it's not just getting a massage. That's not what I mean by pampering. It is really taking care of ourselves, taking that time each day to be by ourselves. Don't you agree, Stephanie?
Absolutely. Learning to be in the stillness and not having that be a negative thing. Sometimes because we're so caught up in our chaos, the stillness feels awkward. It feels like we should be doing something. And so we have this idea of shoulding all over ourselves. I should do this. I should do that. I should be doing that. Should have been done. And so we get wrapped up in this chaos that we can't appreciate being still and letting whatever happens in that moment refuel us. So I completely agree.
When I just go for a walk, I have like trees all around my house. If I just go for a walk, and if I find myself getting a little impatient, or I find myself just not in a really good mood, I will take a walk. I'll just step away. And when I come back, I'm a new person.
Yeah.
And that, yeah. Now I want to move on to romantic relationships. Ooh.
Okay. The good stuff.
And that's right up your alley. In fact, you wrote a book, and I'm going to get this. I love your title. I love it. Successfully Single. I'm there, sister. I'm so there. Choice or destiny? When does this book come out? Because I want it. I'm so there with you.
Oh, thank you. That's exciting. So I wrote this book called Successfully Single, Choice or Destiny. This is just a little snapshot of it.
I like it. I like
And
it.
it's a play on words. So the idea of, being successful and single has a very positive, ideology behind it. But I was thinking about, what if we have gotten so successful at being single that we get in the way of our relationships?
Yeah. Yeah.
So the conversation about relationships is ongoing. It never gets old, because relationships are the, foundation of human connection. So we're
Everything.
always looking for them in some form or facet. And I think ultimately the relationship with self is what our, romantic relationships are derived from, also
Yeah.
relationships with family, etc.
Yeah.
But it really is the relationship with self. And so I find myself having so many conversations with friends and various women about relationships. And sometimes, there are kind of glaring roadblocks. But I think as women, it's kind of difficult. We don't communicate as men. Men can have ugly conversations and then go have a beer. We
Yeah.
don't do that.
No, we
you know,
don't.
we're done for
Simmer.
life if we say the wrong thing.
Yeah.
So I thought, why not create a spin on, traditional self-help? I think the traditional self-help is amazing, but I also think it's been there, done that. And so I created a spin and kind of did a mashup on self-help and narrative, and have two parts of this book. So part one is a snapshot of these characters. There are 7 characters that if you read them, you would either, one, know who they were, like, okay, that's my friend Jennifer, or it would resonate with you. And then part two leads you to a conference that is coached by me. So I get to interact with each character as I would like in a real session, and you get to see that interaction and almost kind of that breakthrough in story form. The reason I wrote it that way is because I wanted people to be defenseless. When we're entertained, we're open. And so I didn't want to say, hey, here's a book about what's wrong with us. No, it's not about what's wrong with us. It's about, hey, let's look at these characters. Can we associate with these characters? And what can I change, or what can I work on that will help me have a better relationship, period, which will eventually lead to a better sustained romantic relationship.
You touched on something I really, really think is important. I'm going to bring it out. Um, we so often, if we don't find that special person, but it's not just that special person, it's relationships in general. But
Mm-hmm.
let's work with the special person, that special person in our life. The first thing we do is we say, what's wrong with us?
Mm-hmm.
And we must learn that we really are enough. Who we are is, we're beautiful. It's just that in a relationship, maybe we're not giving it a chance, or maybe we are, and I'll tell you, I'm a little past 50. Shh. And when we get a little past 50, we get protective of our life.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've been single for a while, you get protective of your life. I've got 3 boys. I've got a great dynamic here. You know what I mean? I'm really close with my kids. I'm going to add another energy in here. It's got to be pretty darn special. And so then
Mm-hmm.
I put these rigorous, regular rules and things go, and the poor man, he comes into my life just wanting someone to love. And he has to jump through an obstacle field,
Right.
you
And
know?
he's already lost.
Yes, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And he's saying, what is the deal? And then
Yeah.
we wonder why they don't want to stay.
Yeah. Absolutely.
you know?
Absolutely. So it's
Yeah,
pretty exciting.
it's very,
I'm excited to see how people respond to it, given that it's really not the norm of self-help. But I'm working on kind of changing, the dynamic of how we look at self-help and making it more of a collaborative conversation rather than someone speaking at you. It's a conversation
I
with
like
us.
that. I
Thank
like
you.
that. Very nice. Okay, and now you also have something else pretty cool. It's a sip and share card. I love this. I want to learn more about it. Is it a card game? Is it, what is it? Why don't you explain
Okay.
the
So
subject
here's the
there?
snapshot of the sip and share card game. It's an actual conversation starter card game. And it's a deck that I created with 4 categories, from relationships to life to sex to career. It's interchangeable for women and couples. I've found that a lot of women initially played it with their spouses or guy friends, and so it works actually with both. The idea behind Sip and Share, a fun way to be nosy, is another form of sprinkling a little medicine or a little sugar in our medicine. So once again, you know, at this time in our lives and in society, we're seemingly so connected. Except we're not. You know, we're connected to our phones, we're connected to these people online in these, you know, somewhat a faux relationship, but we're ignoring the people in front of us. So how do we create new conversation, new connections, or how do we increase the depths of the relationships that we already have? So here's something that you get together, you get to play. And once again, your defenses are down because I'm sipping, I'm sharing, I'm having a glass of wine, or I'm out with friends. And so I'm not really thinking too much about it. And so the way that I've created the questions is that, there's a lot of fun questions and, you know, questions to get us excited or funny questions. And then there's some questions that, promote thought, and some questions that create connection. You know, for example, I had someone write into me saying they played the game and they had been going through the planning to go through the in vitro process, and you know, they felt very alone. And a lot of people go through that, but you know, we're not talking about that. And so she said that she answered the question because there's a question that lends itself to something like that. And she said that another woman in the group started talking about the fact that they had been struggling for a year. And, you know, she said they had such a beautiful moment. They were both in tears. And here's, like, you know, I had chills reading that, because here's the exact reason why I read that. So we go in, we want to have a good time, we want to have fun, and we do. But here on the other end of this question lies a breakthrough you didn't know you wanted or needed or was looking for. So yeah.
And it's amazing what we do when we truly connect with people, don't you think? And opening up with those questions. And it's funny, I do a lot of group sessions, and I always find that once the questions start happening, or when we start talking, people learn that they're not alone. That there is always someone, or more than one person, going through the same thing as you, or something very similar, or something on this, or feels just as alone as you. And once you learn that, we kind of are losing that facet of talking face to face. We are on our phones too much, as we sit on our phone right now. But we are on the phones too much. And if we just put them down and really talk. I love the idea of sipping and talking and getting together. That's why I formed Savvy Sisterhood. And that's why I'm trying to get ambassadors everywhere, so that they have personal contact and can really talk and connect. Yeah, I love your game. I think that is fantastic. Now, in preparing for this interview, I came across a commentary you did. It was a video on the TV show Married at First Sight. Now, I haven't seen it. I know about it, but I want to know your thoughts on these arranged marriages. I'm putting you on the spot here.
You know, arranged marriages aren't new. There's something that have been happening for, you know, since the beginning of time. Yeah. You know, and culturally in some places they're still happening. I don't necessarily have a problem with them. The only part that kind of, you know, is problematic for me is if somebody doesn't have a choice. And I think that's a completely different aspect of the whole thing. But, you know, who are we to say that arranged marriages don't work? A lot of them have worked. You know, we would say, oh, you need to know someone for X amount of time before the relationship can work. And there are people who've known each other for years and the relationship doesn't work. And there's people who've met each other for 6 months and it works, or vice versa. They meet for 6 months, it's hot, and then it doesn't work. And then a slow flame, a slow buildup over the years lasts forever. So the idea of arranged marriages, I think, is great. As long as the two people are really committed to what they're looking for. And it once again ties into relationships, that in this day and age where right now that's not something that we really do. And I think this show is kind of bringing that back up, and it's so awkward for us to watch that, but it's been happening for so long. It's letting you know the lengths in which people are willing to go to have a fruitful connection because they so desperately want to connect with someone.
You know, it's interesting. I was at a seminar myself just 2 weeks ago, and I met this woman who was just, her name was Joy, you know, just joyous, and she is full of joy. And she says her marriage is, he's her very best friend. And then he comes to find out it's an arranged marriage.
Wow.
And that just kind of took me back because, you know, you always hear the bad side of these arranged marriages, but I haven't really heard the good side. And so I think it's important for us to kind of look at everything as a whole. I don't know how I feel about it, to tell you the honest truth. I really don't. But it's just interesting to me. I'm not going to just kiss it off, in other words.
Right.
I just want to say hi to Jackie and Diane. Thank you for joining us. Yes, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Stephanie.
No, I just said, I think with everything we find what we seek. So if we want to find that they work out, we'll attract those things. And if we're looking for, you know, not to work out because we don't believe in them, then we'll find more of that. I mean, there are both sides, but I think when you're looking for mentorship or anything or relationships that work out, you will draw those things to you. So it's really important to kind of be strong in what you feel, what you're looking for, so that you can find support in that.
Yeah. And you give off that vibration everywhere you go of what you want, and you start acting it. And that's exactly, that's very. All right. I want to talk, see if any of you out there, first of all, because our time is short on the Facebook. Do you have any questions for Stephanie? Do you have any questions? Because I know you do. Come on. You've got to. This is relationships. So if you have a question, will you post it? Because she's here, and I would love to have her answer that. And post it right here on the Savvy Sisterhood, you know, so we can see it. That would be really good. And as they're doing that, I want to talk a little bit, you know, joining Savvy Sisterhood, guys. Let people know it's free. And this is the kind of stuff we're doing, you know. Should you kiss on the first date? That's from Aaron. Let's bring that in. What do you think?
I think as mature women, we can make that decision for ourselves. I don't think that, you know, we're not 16. You can go with the flow. It's not the worst thing. I really don't have a rule on that.
Yeah. I think the most important thing is that you've got to want it. You know, don't get pressured, and never get pressured into anything.
Absolutely.
But if you feel that vibe going, why not? You know,
absolutely. Whatever your moral compass is. Some people are really uptight with that. Some people are not. Yeah, I don't think it's that big of a deal. But you know, to each their own.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, what if their mom doesn't like you? Erin is hot today. She is. Come on, guys, you gotta come up here because she's really hot.
Who's the mom?
I don't know. Probably the mom of the guy you're kissing, or the person you're kissing, I should say.
What if their mom doesn't like you?
Yes.
Well, you're not kissing their mom. No.
Isn't that the truth? Oh, and now she asked something a little more serious. How do you deal with the mother-in-law? Oh, isn't that the question?
I mean, my first thought is that your dealing with in-laws really should go through your spouse first, because I think it's just a relationship that you have to be very respectful about no matter what. Of course, you can set your boundaries, but I think the first order would be to discuss it with your spouse, and they kind of handle that on your behalf, because we can talk to our parents in a different way. And, you know, your in-laws love their child in a way they will never love you, you know, because you're their child. So even if you have a good relationship, it's very different. So just off of respect alone, I would seek out my spouse before I did anything, you know, that warranted a problem.
Me too. We have one question. I'm going to tap on this so I can see the whole question. There we go. Good. I was scared the whole screen would go. All right. Hey, Jackie, thank you. This is wonderful. Okay, I'm going to read it. isn't it okay if you have been married and now divorced over 50? I'm their sister, wiser, smarter, to know what type of man you can't tolerate. We shouldn't settle, I would think. I think you are so right. Don't you ever settle. But I'm not being interviewed. Stephanie, what do you think on this?
Okay, so I would say I agree, but here's some of the roadblocks that get in our way. So what does settling look like to you? So I always say, what are your 5 non-negotiables? Like, they have to have this or it will
Mhm.
not work. And then write some of your list of maybes and see
Yeah.
if is this person falling into the maybe category, because this is about the inner self work of finding out where we're creating roadblocks unnecessarily. You shouldn't settle, but there is no perfect man. And
No.
so,
Are we perfect? Come on.
exactly,
Let's think
no.
about this. Yeah.
So, even though seasoned, wiser, as we mature, we learn a lot about ourselves and what we are willing to deal with and not deal with. So, you definitely need to have some boundaries and have some standards, but you don't want to get in your way to the point where it just keeps you alone, because now it's not a them thing, it's a you thing. So it all comes back to self at some point.
Mhm. It comes back to self. I learned this little thing. I wanted, if you don't mind, if I share it.
Of
It's a
course.
little, if you write down, and I want to hear your opinion. That's why I'm bringing it up. It's not just because I'm spouting, but I learned that if you I list the maybe 5 or 6 things that you really love or want in your life, and I'm not talking, okay, he's got a great smile and brown hair. I'm talking
Right.
core things. I'm talking real stuff like
Mm-hmm.
is he caring? Does he like to snuggle? Does he listen? Does he get along with your kids? Whatever, those important things. And then you work through the list yourself. This is the key. I love this part because you can't have what you don't have.
I
Isn't
love
that
that.
amazing? So you
That's me.
start working through the list, each one, and you make sure you have these qualities because you have to give off that energy. And then what do you know? That person comes into your life. And it sounds like woo, but it's really
Yeah,
not. It makes total sense. It's how we go after any goal. We have to
absolutely.
become it. So I don't know. Yeah, give me your thoughts on that one.
I
On the
love that.
spot.
I've never heard that, but I'm definitely going to share that
Sure.
because I really
Sure.
love that. I mean, I think that, whether it's marriage or a long-term relationship,
Yeah.
those things are mirrors. And so
Yes.
it's the best way to see your faults. I mean, you really get to stand in your ugly and realize, "Oh my God, even though I'm great, I'm not as great as I thought I was, because here's all these things that, I'm really not excelling in that I thought I would." You think you're thoughtful until you have to be thoughtful. You think you're
Yeah.
flexible until you are in a relationship and realize that you're very regimented. And
Yes.
so it's really important to kind of, learn what you want and then be able to start to mimic that. You won't be perfect because you're not the same person. But at least, if your spouse or if your significant other is flexible in a certain way, you want a spouse who's flexible, then you need to find a way to be more pliable in other ways. It may not be in the same way, but where you might give that person room in a different way, they can give you room in a way that you need it. We don't
Exactly.
always need the same thing in the same way, but as long as we're allowing ourselves to be able to be pliable enough to fit that whole thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, Kristen has one. What do you think about dating in the office and trying to keep it quiet? Well, good luck with that. What do you think about that? Because that's hard. That is a very good question because so much of our social life, excuse me,
Mm-hmm.
is in the office. That's where you spend 8, 12 hours a day. What do? You meet this person, you're attracted, he's cute, she's cute. And what do you, I know a lot of offices say no dating. Is that even possible? You know?
Right. Yeah. Well, I think of, like, work. First of all, work, we spend so much of our time at work. But I think about people like doctors who really spend an obscene amount of time at work. I
Yeah.
mean, it might be taboo, but I really don't think there's a problem with it. I understand why they have rules, but you can also, like, for the logistical side, you can always, mark your relationship in HR so they are aware of it. But just coming back to the idea of it, I don't have a problem with it. I think it lies with the individual. So if you have two people who are respectful and responsible and can handle that, the dynamic of working together and being in a relationship and understanding where those boundaries lies, because you will run into issues, then it can work. If you have someone who is emotionally unstable, then
Yeah.
that's not a good idea. But you could meet your husband or wife or whomever you're in a long-term relationship with. You could meet them at work,
And most of the
and you
time we
can,
do. Yeah.
yeah, and you can find a way to make that work. So I think it's about the respect and emotional stability with the people involved, not necessarily because it's
Very
work.
good. Very, but you should be careful in dating a non-stable person anyway.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
That's not a good thing. But and also you can come up with an agreement too, I think.
Hmm.
That because you have to work in the place. So if it doesn't work out, you can always say we will remain friends. And if you keep that focus, then the drama of breaking
Yeah,
up, if it so called happens, and I hate to think
right,
of the breaking up, but it does,
right.
you keep that in your sights that you're going to stay friends, and it
Hmm.
changes things a little.
Hmm.
Yeah, so you can monitor that. All right,
Absolutely.
guys. If you don't belong to Savvy Sisterhood, guys, join. This is the kind of stuff we do. We talk about this. We grow. We're a community of caring women, and it's free, free, and it's simple to do. You just join. You just go on this page, joinsavvysisterhood.com, right on Facebook, and click I join. Easy, easy peasy. So, and then if you want to post on the site, maybe throughout the day. This, Stephanie, so this is on there. I mean, it is on there. So women will be seeing it all day long. They'll be seeing it tomorrow. They'll be seeing it the
Awesome.
next day. Yeah, and they'll be posting questions. So you might want to check, especially if it's a question for you.
Okay.
And ladies, put your questions on there. She'll be looking at it and she will answer your questions. That's why I
Hmm.
have her on. And so that'll be happening all day. Also, we're going to be doing really fun things even more. And as you know, we started last week or the week before giving prizes. Erin won my book. Yay, Erin. Go, go, go for getting so many friends on. Today, I want to see the first 5 to really comment that they're in Savvy Sisterhood. Just let them comment that. Will win. Is this okay, Stephanie? I'm doing this on the fly here. The
Uh-huh.
first 5, all right, will receive their own I want to get it right, sip and share game. Okay, I did it.
Absolutely.
Is that all right?
Yep.
All right, I got to get this out of there. Okay. All right. So awesome. So the first 5 that put yes, they're in Savvy Sisterhood. Yeah, or I'm joining Savvy Sisterhood, or I'm bringing a friend to Savvy Sisterhood, something like that. You get her game, which is called the Sip and Share game, which I personally love. I love it. It is a
Yeah.
wonderful way to make connections. It's a wonderful way to get a really a starting to talk in groups, which is an art we're losing. So this is a wonderful, wonderful gift. And now, if you want to learn more about Alena Chapman, and you do know me because I'm always on, but check it out. Check out alenachapmanlife.com. I've got a new website. I would love for you to take a look and just see. And do us a big giant favor. Would you please post that you saw Facebook Live with Alena Chapman and Stephanie Lee, which I really like that name, by the way. It just kind of
Thank
flows off your tongue. Stephanie Lee. Yeah, that's an easy one to get. So
you.
yeah, and just put it on your post and let people know that we are here, okay? And that they should join and get this valuable information.
Awesome.
Everything is for your growth. Everything is for your growth. So anyway, Stephanie, I so enjoyed. Yes. Do you have something else?
I just want to jump in and say my book is actually launching next Tuesday, but because I knew I was going to do the Facebook Live this morning, I put it on the website last night for pre-order. So it's up now on
Right.
iamsuccessfullymE.com. And I also created a bundle because a lot of people, want the book. A lot of people want the card. So I also created a bundle for the Savvy Sisterhood group, also on the website iamsuccessfullymE.com. So definitely check
Love
it out.
it.
And
SuccessfullymE.com, guys. She's
I am.
giving it away.
I
I
am
love or
me.com.
purchasing. Yeah. Say it again.
I am successfullyme.com.
I am successfullyme.com.
Yep.
I like that. Okay, you got that. And you might comment underneath, Stephanie, and put that down there too, so that
Okay.
it's, and so that they have it and can see it. And guys, it's a super book. It's a super book. Say your title again, because I love it.
Successfully Me, Choice or Destiny.
I love that. So anyway, guys, so check that out. Check out my website, see more about it, get more information, but most important, send this around and get people to join us, because the bigger our community grows, the more you get to have loving, wonderful people around you and talking and growing all together. It's a cool world. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you,
Thank
Stephanie.
you.
Thank you, you guys. Thank you, Kristen, Julie, Diane, Aaron. Love you. Namaste, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.